reminder, all new club forms must be turned in by Friday to the main office. Please remember to get the signature of the advising faculty who will oversee your club activities. Thank you. We will be with you soon, and our classes will start momentarily. Please get your puzzles ready and your learning hats on. Welcome to Aetherhaus.
Ah, Professor.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're just in time.
Good. I like being timely.
How was your travel?
Oh, it was very pleasant. The part that I can remember.
And you were journeying into the Enchanted Isles, I suppose, again?
Well, always. You know, I went on a hot date.
Really?
Oh, yes. But I should not have set them on fire first.
You set your date onto fire.
Yes.
How very much like you, Calvi.
I was trying to be romantic. They said I was a little cold.
I trust that you were able to cure them of the burns once the date was completed.
Oh, absolutely. But they kind of liked it. It made them look tough.
Well, I'm glad you're here. The students should be arriving shortly. I gave us a little extra time for the professors to sort everything out here in the classroom. It's... Professor.
Oh, Professor.
Maximilian, I trust you're doing well.
I'm doing well.
Please, join us. Calvin and I were just reminiscing about his romantic escapades.
Yes.
How many people were here?
3. Only 3 this time. I learned. Slowly.
That's good.
You know how I hate when you hover, Maximilian. Please have a seat, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
I'm preparing things. Calvin, are you going to set anything on fire today with your experiment?
No, I'm going to do the first thing that you should learn in alchemy. Make things bigger. Fire is for later.
I've been preparing something very special for our students. We have, of course, as you know, expanded our reach.
Oh!
We are using our magics to communicate beyond the veil of Aetherhaus Academy. You can see all the hovering spirits there. Please don't scare them, Calvin, please.
Hi! Hi, welcome to Aetherhaus!
Yes,
I think those are the safest students.
they perhaps are.
Oh, I will. That's a challenge for me.
That's true.
I don't suppose anyone has seen Professor Crookson.
No?
Also, I have pulled a few favors, and Delphine will be joining us this semester.
Yay!
She has taken on as head of enchantment, and I think that that is going to offer plenty of opportunities for our students to learn magic from someone who has really experienced things. I think that she has recently come back from abroad, traveling to Egypt and beyond.
Yes, she doesn't look a day over 3,000.
Not at all. Not at all at all. No.
We'll have to pick her brain about some enchantments that I would like to learn.
I think everything is set for the students, but I keep wondering if we have gone too far this time.
What do you mean, too far?
Well, you know that the riddle of the paths is a very treacherous one.
Mm-hmm.
Having removed the restraints as we have, I feel that it could have unforeseen coincidences that may relate to the way that magic is cast here.
I don't follow.
You don't. Allow me to be more clear.
Okay.
The riddle of the paths has been used by Aetherhaus for many, many years to assess the magical attunement of each student as magicians, wizards, sorcerers, warlocks, witches, magic users. We all are born with innate powers and skills that allow us to cast magic. But without focus and determination, without education, we find ourselves in a situation that is not only dangerous, but oftentimes deadly.
Oh.
So, we will separate each of the students into one of the 5 paths, and that includes all of the students that we are speaking to beyond through the divining devices that they have cobbled together at our precise location.
Question for you.
Yes,
Deadly.
deadly.
Aren't you the necromancy teacher? Doesn't just give you more business?
It does indeed, but if I, as the proctor professor of this school, find myself with dead students only, I don't know that I'll get many more of them.
Oh, yeah.
Sadly, of course, Chancellor Aetherhaus is not with us this semester.
Oh, what happened?
Not with us in what manner?
I assure you that she is quite fine, still amongst the living. It's just that she's not available.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be taking full charge of the school this semester. Thank you, Calvin, yes.
Promotion, I suppose.
That's a good thing, right?
I see it, yes, as my sacred duty to ensure that Aetherhaus continues. Do you have something to say, Maximilian? I know that you were hoping to actually rise above the rank of a tenured professor.
Get up there!
No,
Come on!
I'm
Come
not
on!
interested in that. I'm just... The notion of sacred duties is entertaining to me, if you will.
Go here where everybody can see you!
Oh, yes. I suppose we are allowing all of our remote students to access this moment between us. Is there anything that you would like to say, Maximilian?
No, just the notion that sacred duties seem a little quaint.
Education is very important. It is a path that we have all taken.
Oh, certainly. I believe very strong in education. In my mundane life, I'm an educator as well. Yes. So, but sacred carries a certain connotation, I suppose, that is perhaps dated.
I see. I apologize.
Well, that is all.
Yeah,
I merely found humor in that.
I'm afraid that my connection to the mortal realms has lessened as my age has increased. I find it tedious.
No, I find it fascinating, actually. Learning about what is going on out there informs us of, well, what we should be doing in here as well.
With the proliferation of technology, our arts has been minimized.
Well, you can adapt, or you can continue to be minimized.
I'm afraid you'll never find me with a MySpace page.
That's all right. Oh my goodness! You still... Oh, wait. You don't have a MySpace page. Oh, never mind.
It is what the youth are doing now.
Oh, no. They use this thing, with friends. I think it's called Friendster.
I think it's Friendbook.
Oh! That's right. You deal with all the technologies.
Very well. Crookston is here, though. Delphine is waylaying, but Crookston is close by.
Ah, okay.
As soon as they make their way, we'll begin discussing. Speak of the devil, and the devil shall appear.
It took you long enough.
I can never tell
I
if
apologize
you're being
that I was
sarcastic
dealing with my class.
the devil comment.
Or at least the beginning of it.
There's people out there.
Crookston, we already have installed all of the divination spells that are necessary to communicate with the outside world. We've been testing, and I think that we are approaching an optimal time to introduce our students. But I wanted to speak with you, at least momentarily. You've been here for a while now. Are we going to have any further incidents this semester?
Yes.
In what way?
In what way, they ask? I'm afraid that your teaching methods have been rather non-traditional.
And that's why Delphine brought me. If you didn't want non-traditional, you shouldn't have let me write in my own contract.
I was not in charge of the contracts at that time.
Aetherhaus was.
That's something else that I wish to mention. Aetherhaus will not be with us this semester. Therefore, I, as the Proctor Professor, will be in charge of everything that happens within this institution. And I'm hoping that you and I can be great friends, and that I can trust you to help guide these students.
Aye. Why else would I be an educator if not to help guide students?
I've often asked myself that question in regards to your choices.
Don't worry. They'll be given a helping hand. And, if you must, you can sit in on some of my classes.
That's very gracious. I'll be sitting in on all classes this semester to ensure that everything proceeds absolutely perfectly. But thank you for the invitation. Well, I do have the beginning portion of orientation to get to, so I would ask you all to make your way. We will, I'll call you each in as your segments of orientation come about.
Do you need me to send in the students?
Yes, actually, send them in one at a time.
You're gonna interview them?
I wish to speak to them before we proceed.
Oh, feel free to move my stuff if it's in the way.
Thank you, Calvin. Hello.
Hello.
You have just arrived.
I have.
And how do you find our academy?
It's very nice.
Good. Are you comfortable? Has everyone treated you appropriately?
So far, yes.
Excellent. What is your name?
Jacosa.
Jacosa.
Yes.
I am Professor Malvo.
Hello.
I'm the proctor of the school.
Oh,
You received a letter from me.
I did.
Are you excited to begin your studies, Jacosa?
Yeah.
Oseo, I know that name. Powerful necromancers, your parents, yes?
Geomancers.
Geomancers. The Oseos are geomancers. Interesting. And you have a specific interest in necromancy, I understand.
Yes.
But your parents are geomancers, traditionally.
Yeah.
And their parents before them.
Yes.
And the generation twice removed from them, also geomancy.
Everyone, yeah. Including my twin.
Your twin.
Yes. She's not going here, though.
I see. Do you have preferred pronouns?
She, her.
She, her. Excellent. Well, your sister will not be joining us, but you have. Is there a reason for that?
I didn't want to go to military school, and this was the only other option.
Magical service is of the utmost importance. But their teaching methods are rather archaic, aren't they? You've chosen the path of enlightenment.
Yes.
I do appreciate that. Well, why don't you have a seat? You'll be sitting here. Your family's wand has already been sent here, and we have taken good care of it.
Thank you.
It is now yours to use.
Okay.
The hat and your grimoire are also present, Miss Hosea.
Whoa.
You may open it. Did Evelyn bring her cats to the academy?
There's cats here?
I'm quite sorry, Professor, but it seems that we've gotten a new student, at least.
Welcome to the academy. We thank you for your patronage. Your cats are quite welcome, Evelyn. Just see that they stay out of the library itself. I can't clean up after them every night. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Please, make your way here. A little closer. Who do we have the pleasure of meeting?
I'm Nix.
Nix? What is your last name?
Umbrella.
Umbretta. Ms. Umbretta, I am assuming Ms. is that the correct pronoun you would like to use? Ms. Umbretta, what brings you to the academy?
I found out magic was a thing and I wanted to learn more.
I see. And do you have a particular school of magic that interests you?
Enchantment?
Enchantment interests you. You're very lucky. We have a very special professor who is heading up the enchantment school this semester. She's highly regarded amongst many academic circles. Evelyn, I swear, if the cats continue, we're going to have words.
They're just very excited by the new
I am
students.
appreciative of their excitement. We are all excited. If it is, are they knowing because of the patronage of another student?
They are, sir.
Thank
At
you.
least it's better than the roosters.
Yes, you're correct about that. I am so sorry to interrupt your interview. We have, of course, opened our doors, mystically speaking, and are communicating into the Aether itself. Students from all around the world will be joining us at the Academy, learning the arts of magic. You seem like you're fairly keen-witted, but I wonder, are you aware of what you're going to learn?
No, or else I wouldn't be here to learn it.
Excellent. That's a perfect answer, Ms. Umbretta. Please, have a seat here. You will find your hat, wand, which, as your family did not pass one down to you, has been issued by the school.
Huh.
You will find that it serves you well, and in time, you may be able to craft your own wand. The hat and the grimoire are also yours. You may open your grimoire now. Ms. Osea, you opened your grimoire,
I did.
and you have found the beginnings of what will be your magical education. You see all of the paths are clearly marked there. And as you begin on your journey, you will grow in power. And with all things, if you make enough mistakes, you will lose power. This will continue on until you graduate from the academy. And at which time, if we find that you have the successful marks necessary to do so in your chosen school of magic, you will be ushered into the wizarding world, welcomed to a new life amongst those who cast. Professor, do we have any further students ready? Please, join us here.
Oh, sir.
Hello. May I ask your preferred pronouns?
He, him, sir.
He, him. And your name?
Rupert Endergroff.
Rupert Indergraaf.
Yes.
Mr. Indergraaf, your family, that name, I know it well. In fact, I have studied amongst some of your family. The Indergraves are well known. What school of magic does your family practice?
Necromancy, sir.
Yes. And you know that I am, as the Proctor Professor of Aetherhaus Academy, also in charge as the head of the Necromancy School.
Yes, sir.
And yet, I understand from your entrance papers that you are not interested in the arts of necromancy. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You have chosen to pursue a different path.
Yes, sir. I have.
You are polite. I respect that. You would be a fine necromancer.
I hope to be a fine geomancer, hopefully, sir.
Your choices are your own, Mr. Indergrav. Take your seat right there.
Yes, sir.
You will find a wand that has been school issued, as your family's wand is deeply mired in necromantic energies, which is inappropriate for a student pursuing geomancy. So you have a school issued wand. You also have a hat and a grimoire. Both are yours.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. Next student, please. Ah, yes. I have been told you were coming. May I ask your preferred pronouns?
She, her.
And your name?
Verity Williams.
Ms. Williams, your family is from one of the most storied, highly positioned, magical families in all of the known realms. And yet, you find yourself here at Aetherhaus. We are humbled by your presence.
Well, thank you, Professor.
But you understand, there will be no special treatment, no matter who your father is or what position he holds within the world.
Of course, never.
You will work as hard, if not harder, than all of the other students to prove your worth. Right, Ms. Williams?
Of course, Professor. I'm sure I will impress you, very much so.
I hope so, Ms. Williams. What school of magic have you set your eye to?
Well, my family is known for all of the magics. My great-great-grandmother was known for enchantment. So I would like to look at that, but I'm open to everything.
Have a seat, please, Ms. Williams.
Thank
You
you,
will find that
Professor.
your family has sent a very special, very rare, expensive wand.
Of course.
You may use it, but it doesn't make you a better spellcaster. You understand that, correct?
Of course, Professor.
The hat and the grimoire are also yours. There is one more student. I trust that they are not late. Professor Crookson,
Aye.
is there any other student available?
Aye.
Is there a reason that they have not made their way into the classroom?
Aye.
And that reason would be, Professor Crookson,
She's running a bit late now, isn't she?
well, don't allow me to hold her up, Professor Crookson. We all wait with bated breath.
Oh, aye.
You're enjoying this, aren't you, Professor Crookson?
Oh, aye.
Whoa, what's this place? So,
What?
so,
What language is that?
I assume we're all speaking English here? I didn't get the
We are speaking English. Last I checked, and trust me, my memory is encyclopedic. Sup is not a word.
Right.
What were you trying to say?
What's up?
What's up? You
Yeah.
were saying 2 words.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm angry or impressed.
it's a talent. I have it.
Do you have preferred pronouns?
Dude is great.
I will respect your identification as due.
Thanks, man.
What is your name?
Oh, I'm Ziomara Cortez. I'm new here.
I know you're new, Ms. Cortez. Everyone in the classroom is new.
Like, new? Like, this is. I don't know what this is.
I don't know what this is as a statement of you're not sure what everything in the room is.
Yes.
It is a classroom. And you understand from the letter that you received that you will be learning the arts of wizardry.
That's the part I don't know.
I understand that your family is not traditionally connected to the magical arts. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's one way of it. I would say more like, we didn't know magic existed.
I see. And yet, you have shown the potential to be a powerful spellcaster.
Thank you. I'm honored.
It was not a compliment. It was a challenge.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand that as a spellcaster, you possess the ability to destroy, to create, to control? Each of you within you contains the power of what others may see as a god. And to misuse those abilities, or to abuse them, would hold great perils, not only for those around you, but eventually for yourself. Those who are not trained in the magical arts oftentimes find themselves burning alive, either from those who find them and assume them to be evildoers, or from the very powers that they seek to control. Consider this your very first lesson. Ms. Cortez, if you would do us all the honors, have a seat, dude. Underneath your hat, you will find your grimoire and a school-assigned wand. As this is your orientation, each of you are going to be tested tonight. Your test is not simple. It will drill you down to the very core of your being. It will force you to look within yourselves, to question what your strengths are, but more importantly, to know your weaknesses. Only then will the riddle of the paths be answered. There are rules in this classroom. You will abide by them. As the proctor professor at any moment, I have the ability to not only remove you from this school, but to transmute you into whatever I see fit. It has been allowed. Do not test me. You will respect the classroom above all things. You will respect your fellow students. When a professor asks you to do something, you will do it. And you will remember the most important rule. What you see is of the utmost importance. What you hear will guide you along the way. But what you know and feel, that is the keystone to all things. Your senses, of which there are 5, each guide you through this world. All of them together form something beyond what any single one of them produces. As magic users, this is the key. Magic is the key. Do you understand?
Yes, Professor.
Excellent. Now then, your lesson, the paths. Ancient texts describe the northern wind as a wet, cold wind. It is therefore commonly connected to the metaphysical force of moonlight. It is said to govern the qualities of tranquility, peace, and reflection, but also the negative qualities of laziness and depression. Are you taking notes? Is there a problem? Dude Cortez,
Yeah, do you got like a spare pencil or something?
you came to class without a...
I thought it was like, orientation the first day, you don't really take notes.
Typically you bring paper and quill to class.
What's a quill?
A writing utensil.
I have a feather, but it doesn't write.
You have a feather.
I have two, but they don't write. They're just feathers.
You brought decorative feathers to my classroom, but you did not bring a quill.
Yes.
Mr. Indegrov, did you bring the appropriate supplies to class?
I did not, sir.
And were you paying attention to my lecture thus far about the northern wind? Could you repeat to me the negative qualities?
Laziness being one of them.
I asked for the qualities, plural. Did you not pay attention? Well, I won't be repeating that lesson. There are 3 more. They're integral to you completing the riddle of the paths. Let us hope that those amongst you, outside of the boundaries of time and space, were paying attention, or have some means of accessing the information and transmitting it to you, because otherwise, your chances of passing this class are 0. Any questions? Professor, please, don't stand at the door like a spectator. They have brought you writing utensils. What do you say to the professor?
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, Professor.
I already have one, Professor, but thank
Don't
you.
worry, you're not special.
Lesson Part 2. Ancient texts describe the southern wind as dry and warm, so it is commonly connected to the metaphysical force of sunlight. It governs the quality of ambition, independence, and decisiveness, but also the negative qualities of vengefulness and spite. Lesson 3. Ancient texts describe the western winds as a wet and warm wind. This wind is thought to be metaphysically connected to the force of earthlight. It is said to govern the qualities of wisdom, stability, logic, but it is also said to hold the negative qualities of rigidity and indulgence. The final portion of this lesson. Ancient texts describe the eastern wind as a dry, cold wind. Dude Cortez.
Yeah.
Do you wish for me to continue to refer to you as Dude Cortez?
Just Cortez is fine.
Cortez,
Uh-huh.
was that your wand that dropped on the floor?
Yes.
Pick it up and bring it to the front of the class.
Got it.
I don't think you've got it, Cortez. Don't point your wand at another spellcaster.
Okay.
That is unacceptable. I know that you're new, but would you point a loaded gun at a professor?
Depends who it is.
Could you step forward, please? Was there a reason you were standing in the circle there?
Should there have been?
No, I just find it interesting that you were drawn to that circle.
It's round, I guess.
Thank you, Cortez. Did anyone else take note of the round parts of the circle on the floor? That is not a question. It is sarcasm. You will find my humor is expansive. Cortez, have you ever cast a spell before?
No.
What happened to you that caused you to realize that you had magical connection?
Things started moving, things started floating. Items don't normally float.
That is true. And was it assumed that you were being haunted?
Nah, I don't believe in no ghosts.
You do not believe in no what?
Ghosts. Are those real too?
Summon. What do you see?
I see something I don't want to see. It's kind of creepy.
It is a ghost, Cortez. Now what do you believe not in? You don't believe in no...
I guess they're real. I guess ghosts are real. That's
Unsummon.
out. Is that...
First of all, that was a spell. Second of all, that was a spirit. We do not refer to them as ghosts. There are different cultivations of the dead, and they are very sensitive. If you insult them, you will find that they are very, very rude. But you already knew that, didn't you, Ms. Oseo? Because you've been communicating with the dead. Cortez, have a seat. Ms. Oseo, please join us at the front of the class. Your coursework. Did you see this?
Yes.
Did you notice that the other students have different coursework?
Yes. I was actually confused about that. Was it on purpose?
No, the spirits have chosen to reveal to you things that they should not have. That will not do. I will banish any spirits that are too direct with the very important information on the path. You will receive no aid from outside forces. Do you promise to me, Ms. Oseo, that you will not cast spells to entreat the spirits, to aid you in this test?
Not willingly.
Excellent. Have a seat. You now have everything that you need, almost, to complete your journey through the paths. You understand what I am asking of you all. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Then I will leave you for a short amount of time. I have 4 other courses that I must prepare for orientation. You are not the only students at the academy today. However, this is your class, and each of you represents something very special. I trust that you will work together. Also, under no circumstances are you to leave your seat without permission. Do you understand?
Yes.
Under no circumstances are you to brandish or use your wands without permission. I believe I thought I heard an announcement. Either way, that bell does require me elsewhere. This device should not be touched. It is a spirit transmutator, and it is here specifically to protect and guard the contents of this box. If it were to be opened, the spirit inside would be released. But more importantly, its contents would then be available to anyone who sought it. This is out of your boundaries as spellcasters. You are not strong enough yet to understand the intricacies of this device. Do you understand? I would like to hear from all of you. Yes, Professor.
Yes,
Yes,
Professor.
Professor.
And you will treat the rest of the professors with the same amount of respect. These pillars of the educational community have brought themselves here to see that each of you are able to progress in your journey. I will be back shortly.
What did you get? These are directions. Are they? Wait, directions to where? What did your paper say before you got it taken away?
It just said everything that he was saying. It was basically just saying, like I thought he was reading off of it.
Oh.
Do you
What?
remember any of it? Just what he said.
Okay.
There was no extra information. But shit. What do you have?
I was more taking notes on the different winds, and hopefully that'll give me the answers. Were you paying attention? I only got the east and west. That's what I managed to
He
say.
had the symbols. These symbols were associated with each wind.
North, south, east, west.
I think the end-looking thing was down here. It was
What about you? What about you? You seem like you got notes on your paper.
I was paying attention, weren't you?
I mean, I got something.
I mean, if you brought your supplies, you would have been able to take notes in class.
I didn't know who takes notes. Like, I
Even
couldn't bring
people
my
in-
laptop. Like, what is this?
Even
Like,
people in the mundane world take notes in class, don't they?
no, people just send it on like a PDF or whatever, or airdrop it. Who gives a shit about taking notes?
What's a PDF?
You know, it's not. Don't worry about it. But so, do you have the answer or not?
I'm working on it. I'll have it shortly.
So you get it?
Of course I do.
Announcement, guys.
Announcement.
The head librarian would like to remind students that the restricted section of the library is restricted for a reason. Unsanctioned attempts to access the books there will receive demerits if the student survives.
Hello, I'm Professor Calvin Morgenstern, and we are ready to magic, right? Yes, yes, yes. How's everyone doing at their puzzles right now?
Good.
Good?
Kind of.
Kind of? Okay, okay. So what are we doing here? I don't see very much here.
Me neither.
All right. Okay, I see a little bit more. You even got notes. That's good. That's good. That's good.
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I
Well,
got nothing.
you know, you only get nothing if you haven't tried. Okay, and you, okay. Kind of like a crossword puzzle, but not quite. And Miss Williams. Oh, okay. Well, all right. So, the previous professor explained to you things about the wind, but I'm going to talk about a different type of wind, how to make things bigger. Because we want things to blow up, but you're too young to do the fire stuff. We'll get to that in the advanced lesson, but let's start with wind. What you had a reaction, why?
I mean, fire just sounds cooler. What do you mean we can't blow things up yet?
Well, see, what you have to do is you have to start with little bit of elements, right? So you think about wind. Wind is very invisible. Invisible is like a force. The force is kind of with you and sometimes it's not. The force is kind of like a thermodynamic thing that happens in all sorts of science. It's certain types of science, it's kind of like chemistry, right? And the original version of chemistry is alchemy, which is what I am here to teach you today. Alchemy, it comes from the foreign words al-chemia, which is Arabic for the, and chemia is transmutation into metals. Because we were concerned about turning lead into gold, but it's a lot older than chemistry is. So we're going to do a little bit of a test. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, Miss Umbra. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Come up here. we're gonna do a little test with alchemy. All right. So, when two things are put together, like, say, unicorn powder and anything else, it causes a reaction, and that is something that we have to be very aware of, because this eventually leads to explosions, but we have to start off with something small. Okay? We're going to start off with making a big wind. So, I need you to, do you have your wand?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Always prepare your wand, just don't point at me, but just have it prepared. Do you know how to prepare your wand?
No.
Okay, just have it ready, just stand ready. Have it in a pose where it's down, so you know that you're not aiming at anybody, because that would be bad, I learned. Anyways, so we are going to have you take one of these substances and put it into this vat of chimera tears, but we have to figure out what is going to cause a reaction. So, we have here this. Do we know what this is?
No.
Okay. Let's see who else knows. Mr. Endergroff. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I just knew it had something to do with rapes. Okay. Do you know what this is?
I do not, sir. No.
No? Okay. Well, for everybody here, this is the salty tears of a sphinx. Okay? So salty tears of a sphinx are used for making things drier, because sphinx is out in the desert, and the desert is very dry, so tears of a sphinx. This is unicorn powder. How do we make unicorn powder? Cortez.
What?
How do we make unicorn powder?
Don't tell me you grind them up.
Exactly! You grind them up.
The whole unicorn? You grind up the unicorn?
No, the horn.
Oh.
The horn. What? I am not a monster. Who are you people? Anyways. And this, can you tell me what this is?
Some kind of seasoning?
What kind of seasoning?
I don't know. Garlic.
Smell it. Does it look like garlic? What does it smell like?
Oh. Rosemary?
No. It's black and tan. What does that look like to you?
Pepper?
Pepper, yes.
Oh.
Pepper. Because even in cooking is a form of alchemy. So, we are going to have you cause a wind to happen. Now, your choices are, please name the ingredients. This is?
Salty tears of a sphinx.
Yes. And this is?
Unicorn powder.
Right. And this is?
Pepper.
Right. And, Miss Williams, what's in this vat?
It was Chimera's tears.
Yes. For some reason, a lot of magic happens when you make creatures cry. Keep that in mind. Make creatures cry, you will get an effect. Now, use your wand, and I want you to point at one of these things. And as you point at one of these things, it should magically dump into this vat, and then we will put a corresponding balloon to see if anything results. I need my magic to be close by when you do this. All right? So I want you to cast a spell. You know how to cast a spell, right?
No.
No? Okay. Does anybody here know how you're supposed to cast a spell? Yes.
You say 3 words and then what you want to do.
There we go. Do you have your 3 words in it? The 3 words are very, very personal to you. So that they're not the same 3 words as anybody else. But then you have to say the thing that you want to do. Okay? All right.
Green, blue, red, pour.
4. Okay. So you're picking up the pepper and you're pouring it in the back. that. And let's see what happens. Anything? Anything at all. Not quite. Even though pepper is used in alchemy, or kinds of cooking, it's not really used in a lot of magic books. Let's try Miss Williams.
Yes.
All right. Now then, you only have one of two choices. I mean, we could put pepper again, but we know it's not that.
No.
Okay. So, of these two, we have
The Sphinx tears.
yes, and we have
And the unicorn.
right, and we have in here
The pepper. And Chimera's tears.
yes,
Is the lid.
yes. All right. Now, and you know how to cast spell, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to it.
Professor Morgenstern,
Yes.
might I remind you that there are casting aids on the table next to the skull that may help the students a bit more.
Okay, that is true. There are some casting symbols. Yes.
That is what I am referring to, sir.
Yes.
You would like to have the students use them. I do believe it will make spellcasting a little bit easier.
That is true. Thank you, Miss Song. All right. Then this is what we're going to do. We are going to use some of the traditional methods. I use science, but we're not in a science class. We're in an alchemy class, which is a little bit different. So let me put these down. Okay. Put that here, put that here, and put that here. All right. On the count of 3, go ahead and cast your... Let me see. Make sure that this is right. I never know with some of these things, you know. All right. We're going to do... Go ahead and cast your spell.
Circarum florum herete.
All right. Let's see. We... Oh. See if this works. Oh, look. We have produced wind.
Of course, Professor. I believe the unicorn's horn that the unicorn powder is made of actually gives unicorns the ability to run faster by controlling the wind.
Yes. Very good, Miss Williams.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. Okay, you should stop now. You should stop getting bigger.
Can't you use your magic to stop it?
You know, we could use our magic to stop it. However, we can also do this.
Oh, that works too. Oh.
You see, the important part about magic is that magic is used for things that you can't normally do. But, you know, sometimes just using your hands or to using your hands to open a switch, open a light, one of those things is probably more effective than setting a place on fire. I learned.
Thank you, Professor Morgenstern.
Welcome.
I trust that all of you were paying close attention to everything that Professor Morgenstern had to say. Time is a funny thing. And as we are not yet on the lessons of temporal magics, it is something that you have no control over. The paths, how do they treat you? Mizo Sale.
Paths of time?
The paths in front of you.
Oh.
The riddle of the paths. I trust that you have everything that you need. Is that true, Zumbretto?
Yes.
You have everything you need to solve this dilemma before you.
Maybe.
From what I understand, in your initial application, you are quite adept at logical thinking. That even though you gravitate to the fantastic, the aesthetic, the artistic, you will possess a sharp and keen mind. So I will ask you again, as you study this, do you find that you have everything that you need?
Yes.
Excellent. Then you will be without need of the glyph key.
What?
I'm sorry,
What's a glyph key?
Cortez.
Yeah?
I just told you that there was a glyph key.
Yeah, what is that?
You already have everything you need.
Well, maybe she does, but I don't.
Does that have to do with magic is the key?
I'm sorry?
You said magic is the key earlier.
I did say magic is the key, didn't I? And I also said that your time is running out. Prove yourselves to be the wizards that I know you to be, or fail. You've been very quiet, Mr. Indegrav. Is there a reason for that? Do you find my instruction boring?
No, not at all, sir. I just don't speak unless I have something to say.
I respect that in a student, Mr. Indegrav. I'm asking you now. Come forward. I understand that Calvin, or Professor Morgenstern, has given you some instruction on magic. How to cast it. How to use your wand to focus the energies within you to produce magical effects. Is this correct?
Yes.
I also understand that he
Professor.
used these magics to blow up a balloon.
Professor Malvo,
Yes.
I
Evelyn.
am afraid that Professor Morgenstern went away with the casting aids.
I understand that as well, Ms. Song. Thank you. Are your cats doing well up there?
Oh, they're quite happy. They're
I-
delighted.
Don't really care.
Oh. All right.
Magic must be used responsibly.
Levitate.
The professors have sent back the casting cards.
Sorry!
Allow me to illuminate exactly what we... Is there something that you wish to share with the rest of the class?
No.
No sooner have I completed complimenting you on your logic and sharp wits before you step forward to prove yourself less than intelligent when it comes to your choices in class. What was so important that you had to whisper to Ms. Osei while I was speaking on the arts of magic?
I was just fascinated by the levitating cards.
And you were expressing that fascination to Ms. Osei.
Yes.
Do you think that it is likely in the course of these lessons that you may witness things that are far more spectacular than some floating cards?
I hope so.
Are you going to interrupt every professor when those things happen?
I suppose not.
That would be highly suggested. Ms. Williams,
Yes.
you've been dutifully working. I wonder if you've been paying attention. Allow me to ask you quickly, before I continue where I left off. What are the negative aspects of the eastern wind?
Let's see. Oh. I know that it is dry and cold.
You know that it is dry
Yes.
and cold.
it seems that I don't think you quite finished actually your explanation on the Eastern Wind.
No, I'm quite certain that I finished my full explanation of the Eastern Wind. I'm quite certain that you weren't paying attention, Ms. Williams.
Of course, Professor.
And your fine magical upbringing hasn't helped you in this instance, has it, Ms. Williams?
No, it has not, Professor.
I don't know which of you I like least. Mr. Endergroff,
Yes, sir.
when you're casting a spell, are you aware of the 3 positions?
Yes.
Attack,
Yes.
ready,
Yes.
defense.
Yes.
Why do you know these things?
It was drilled into me with my parents.
Because it is the keystone to casting any magics that affect others. Our hands are part of the expression of the energy that flows from us as the wands control that which we possess within us. Do we all understand that, dude?
Yeah, makes sense.
And are you working on the paths right now, Cortez?
Of course, yeah. It's going.
None of you have touched this, am I correct?
Of course not. Yeah.
No, sir, we have not.
When you cast, what goes with the positions, Mr. Indergroth?
The 3 words of power that you use to cast a spell.
And what are those words?
In what context, sir?
What are the 3 words that you use when casting spells?
I use dark, brimstone, and blue.
Wrong! Those are the words that you choose to use. What words you use are up to you entirely. They may express how you're feeling in the moment. They may be from an ancient crypt. They may be something that you read on your MySpace page. Whatever words you choose are individual to you in that moment. They do not ever have to be the same words. They express our internal nature. The hands, the mouth, the eyes, the ears, the flesh made form. Magic is spirit. Magic is
The key.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Indergroff. Take a seat. Finally, we are getting somewhere. I trust you're all ready for the next professor. You will be required to complete this task. Your journey along the paths tonight, you know. We don't have extended classroom hours. Time is of the essence. Do not leave your seats.
Yeah, I have a question. Okay. I have the letters, but I don't have the order.
What letters? How are you getting letters?
You have to move through the word puzzle.
How'd you figure that out?
How did you? You have to figure out which one's north, south, east, and west.
It's awfully loud in here. I said the professor would be joining you shortly, and as soon as I walk out of the classroom, it sounds like a pack of hyenas. Ms. Song? Well, you should at least introduce yourselves to the new class.
Hello, students. I'm Evelyn Song. I'm one of your librarians. You hear me now and again on the announcements.
When you're finished with that device, step here, please, Ms. Song.
But
I understand. Just for a moment. Is it that bad?
yes, actually.
Get back to the library then.
Of course. Oh, excuse me.
Miss Song is one of the librarians at this school. You can count on the librarians to usher you into a world of knowledge. We have here at Aetherhaus Academy collected tomes of unknown origin from across all of the many, many realms of time and space. You will find knowledge at your fingertips that has been unseen by the mortal realms for a century. How you use it will be of the utmost importance. As you know, librarians possess small, if any, magical talent. But they serve us well, and we will treat them with respect. As much respect as any professor. Do you all understand?
Yes, Professor.
Yes, Professor.
Yes, Professor.
Those without magic are not without worth.
Professor? You have a student asking you a question that you should probably answer.
There is a student named Effie Burton. What is up with the east wind? You didn't finish your explanation. Wipe that smug look off your face, Ms. Williams. As I said, everything you need is here. Isn't that right, Miss Umbretto?
Yes.
Everything you need is here. And everything you need, Effie Burton, is at your fingertips. If you feel that my lessons are lacking, perhaps you would like to illuminate those around you, rather than to needle at your proctor professor. I welcome any communications from any of the students. But I'm not walking the paths right now, am I? Don't leave your seat, and keep it down to at least a dull roar so that I'm not insulted as I walk out the door. It's a classroom, not a zoo.
Pavaris lepto lunam.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to levitate the key piece. That one.
That one.
Bring it to me.
Why don't you just get up and...
Did you not follow directions? We're not supposed to leave our seats.
Yeah, but just because I get up doesn't mean I left my seat. I'm still touching it. You should think out of the box more.
Are we not supposed to be touching
I don't
it?
think the professor wants us touching that.
Oh.
Let her do it.
I mean,
We
we
get
get
5 letters from this puzzle, and this is the only thing we can put 5 letters in.
6 actually.
Is there 6?
Yes.
6. Huh. Well, I got 5.
On this, there are 6.
Is one of them numbers?
No.
Is there 6 letters?
Williams.
Yeah, somebody wired these things incorrectly. Well,
Oh, please, Professor Shalcom,
Just-
don't touch the orbs. Please don't touch the orbs.
no, it's all right. We'll figure it out. The benefits of modern technology may help us in the future. My name is Professor Zhao. I'm your geomancy instructor. Well,
Hey, we got a question.
yeah.
What's that?
What's that?
What's geomancy?
Oh, geomancy. Oh, that's a very good question. Well, this is introduction to geomancy at this point. This is your orientation, so we'll go into that. Does anybody here want to answer what geomancy is?
Isn't
Miss
it?
Williams.
Oh, sorry, Professor. But isn't it the ability to move the elements and control them around you?
Very good. The term geomancy, geo meaning earth, tends to evoke the thought of, moving just the ground or things like that. But the Earth is so much more. We live on the Earth. There's air, atmosphere on the Earth. So pretty much anything that is elemental in concept. In fact, you could probably say geomancy is kind of elementalism. Now, what are the elements? Does anyone want to gander a guess, or do you already know someone other than Miss Williams, since she's already answered correctly? Mr. Endegraw?
Earth, fire, air, and water.
Ah, yes. Those are the classic elements. Do you know where they originate?
I do not.
The
sir.
concept.
I
They actually originate from Zoroastrian belief way back in the day. But they've made themselves quite prominent. Are there any other elements?
The element of surprise.
Oh, the element of surprise. Oh, that caught me off guard. I did not expect that one. Anything else? Natural element. How about either of you two in the front?
Energy?
Energy, that's an interesting one. Energy itself may or may not be an element. You'll come to learn in this class that element is a far looser definition than we would normally conceive of in science. In fact, in certain philosophies, the element of wind isn't really considered an element, rather it is considered energy. In fact, that's very common in Eastern philosophies, actually. In fact, if we want to talk about earth, fire, air, and water, those are not the same if you go off of a different philosophy as well. But we'll get into that later. How are your quizzes going?
Horrible.
Horrible.
Really?
Yes.
Are we not supposed to answer honestly on that?
I don't know.
Do you know the answer?
I haven't looked at them actually, so as of now, no, but I could look at them. But I think that would defeat the purpose.
I mean, I thought the purpose was to use our resources. Aren't you a resource?
I am a resource, I suppose, but I haven't looked at them yet, and I have a class to teach. So, aside from the four classic elements, classical elements, what else do you think? I'm going to be erasing this. Where's the eraser?
It's a wet cloth, Professor.
Wet cloth.
The one right there. On the
white
on
cloth. in
the one
between
right there.
Yes.
Ah, I see. So, how would you conceptualize these elements? What exactly are they? Do they fit with your world view? Anyone? Lady in the front, I didn't catch your name.
Chikosa.
Chikosa. Do they fit with your world view?
Sure, they're a part of my world, so yes.
But are they elements? Are they fundamental? Can they be broken down further?
Everything can technically be broken down
Oh,
further.
is that not? But an element then. Elements are supposed to be basic. They're not supposed to be broken down further.
No, that's true.
But yet you can, can you not? There are different types of earth.
Well, then I suppose it can't be broken down into just one thing.
Correct. Now, in the non-magical world, scientific advancement has made fairly interesting strides. Everyone is aware of the periodic table of elements, correct? Now, why don't we cast using those things? Can anyone answer that? We can manipulate the air and the earth with geomancy, create fire. But
Can we? Are we gonna create fire?
we could.
Or are we just working on wind still?
We'll stick with some of the more basic ones. One of the things with modern geomancy is that you don't want to get caught using it. In the olden days, they'd catch you and burn you with a witch. Now the CIA will come by and take you to a black site.
Are you speaking from personal experience?
No.
Professor, I would like to remind you that the CIA is only in America, and there are other organizations.
That's true. Well, I think none of them are pleasant. So we focus today on more subtle casting methods, if you will. Wind is fairly subtle, as opposed to creating out a flame or manipulating currents of water. But trying to keep things subtle is a very important part of this. Now, does anyone know why you cannot manipulate things on an atomic level?
Well, nothing would really happen too much. You need multiple elements to create a reaction.
That's not entirely true. Things that are pure in nature could cause reactions themselves. Say, for instance, pure oxygen is combustible. Does anybody know why you can't do that? Well, it's because we can't see it. We can't visualize it. You can visualize earth, fire, and water very easily, but if you were to try and visualize pure oxygen, you wouldn't be able to differentiate that with air itself. So it's a matter of our ability to perceive the world. So these classical elements are fundamental to our ability to perceive the world. This is how we perceive the world. This elemental system is far less rooted in hard science, if you will, than it seems as well. There are alternatives. In fact, if you will, there is, in most philosophies, there is a fifth element. Does anyone know the answer to that? Perhaps anyone in the ether.
Spirit?
Spirit is one that is often used and referenced. Anyone else? Aristotle proposed one of these. No one. All right.
Gravity.
No, that would be Sir Isaac Newton. And gravity is unfortunately not really an element. Though, I don't know. Become skilled enough. Let me know. The one that Aristotle proposed was aether, or space, the void. Things that fill the gaps. It's a very poorly defined element, of course, being the element of whatever else. So most people don't cast with aether. Now, these four classical elements and a potential fifth one is often referenced all the way from India to Europe. If you look at Chinese elements, though, they're slightly different, and the principles are different, and the philosophies are different as well. Does anyone know what those five are? No? Oh. This one's very obscure. It's not very popular, I would say. Let's go through this. So in normal, you have fire opposed by water, correct? Then you have an air.
Professor, if you would not mind writing a bit bigger so our students in the Aether can see?
Is this not large enough?
No, sir, it isn't.
Let's put air at the top. So the way this is proposed is that these are diametrically opposed, correct? They sort of cancel each other out, so to speak. And I'm sure some of you have played some video games that do the same thing. All right. So when we look at the other system, it's actually a cycle of 5 that interact with one another. And you don't need to necessarily remember this itself, but understanding the general concepts is important. We lose air in this cycle. Water should.
Professor, I'm afraid that is quite illegible at the top, since it's so wet.
I'm not certain I can do too much about that. Is that better?
Mm.
All right. These
Yes,
things
students,
work in a
thank
cycle. It is they're less oppositional and they're more cooperative. So, in this philosophy, follow if you will, fire consumes wood. So you could say that wood generates fire. Fire, once it's done burning whatever it is, produces ash, earth. From earth, you harvest metal. And this one's the one I don't particularly like too much, but metal crafted into objects of all of these other things can gather water. Create a bucket, for instance. And water is consumed to produce wood. So that's a cycle, obviously. They also have strengths against one another. For example, water is strong against fire. Fire melts and forges metal. Metal tools are used to chop wood. Wood grows upon the earth, and earth is what rises out of the water. Now, are there any flaws you see with this philosophy? I see many. But are there any flaws or exceptions to the rules that you perhaps see? Any volunteers?
Some of these, to get the cycle to the next one, require something more mundane to happen, if that makes sense. For example, in order to gather the water, you have to craft the metal.
Correct. There is absolutely a human element involved in this. That is very true. Anyone else see any flaws or oddities?
Professor, we have a question from the ether.
Yes.
They would like to know if you could clarify the metal to water relation.
Oh, the metal to water relation. Metal. These relations also go in reverse, by the way. Metal can be crafted into items and tools to gather water. It's a cycle of generation in that direction. And then if you go in the reverse, there's a cycle of destruction, if you will, or consumption. For example, if you go in reverse, wood is consuming the water to feed itself. Water will rust the metal, and the metal will dissolve into the water and be non-visible anymore. And so on down. Earth smothers fire, fire consumes the wood. And so that's the general concept here. Is there anything else that you can see that's potentially wrong? Yes?
Professor, you say that you can use metal to craft something to get the water, but could you not do that with wood as well?
That is correct. You could also do that with wood.
And same thing with earth. Could you not combine earth and water? Could you not create
Clay.
something to get water as well?
Correct. Clay is a form of earth that will definitely gather that as well. So there are flaws in this philosophy, and there are flaws in the classical element philosophy as well. Once you get down to the nuances, there are always flaws in these sorts of things. It is less about what is scientifically proven and more how you visualize the world in your mind. And that is the core of geomancy. It is how you envision the world. Two geomancers may cast in very different manners. They may produce very similar effects, but their philosophy will be different. So, let's go ahead and perform another test of some sort. You're all free to get up out of your seats, if you so choose. You'll kind of need to do this. Geomancy is a very active magic. Far less chanting and pointing wands at people. We will go ahead. Please stand up. We will deal with two diametric elements that you will be dealing with first in this class. We will be dealing with earth and air. This test will require you go into what is, in martial arts, called horse stance. Like so. Back straight, knees bent. And you will now, not quite. Try to keep your back straight, up. And then,
be hip with the kids.
and hold and hold your breath for as long as you can. Whatever gives out first. For the person who maintains both their breath held in the longest and the stance at the same time tends to have more energy for geomancy and more aptitude for it. Is everyone ready?
Yes, Professor.
And begin. I'll do it with you.
I tap out.
Alright, not bad. Well, I see your profession is well chosen, Mr. Endergrove. That about concludes my lecture. Any questions?
You sure you don't know the answers to this paper?
I have not looked at them yet. Nope. Then I suppose I'll turn you over to your next professor. Gus.
Thank you, Professor. I'm sure that the students gave you no trouble at all.
None.
Excellent. Always a pleasure. Well, learning a great many things today, aren't we? You understand the point of orientation, don't you? Why you're here, why you must be tested, why we should sort you into your specific magical schools. All of that is already clear to you, yes?
Yes, Professor.
Ms. Williams,
Yes, Professor.
would you step up to the front of the class
Of
for
course,
a moment?
Professor. With or without a wand?
Bring your wand. What are the negative qualities of the eastern winds?
Well, it was mentioned in the ether, Professor, you didn't get to that part.
Wrong! What are the negative qualities of the eastern wind? Do any of you have the right answer? Yes, Mr. Indergroff.
Vengeance and spite. Me too.
That is correct. Have a seat, Ms. Williams. I think you'll find that Mr. Indergroff is paying attention. Your family can buy you so very much, but they cannot buy you passage through this academy. Cortez. What's up, dude?
I don't, just hanging in here.
I was being facetious. I don't care. What's up, dude? I want to know, how are you doing on your coursework?
Honestly? Or, do you want me to lie to you?
I always require the utmost honesty from my students. I'm not asking questions because I want to hear a fanciful story. This is not about unicorns and princesses, Cortez. This is the fate of the universe at your fingertip.
So honestly, I'm not doing well. You can just put me in the leftover class.
No. I'm sorry. I've overextended myself today. No, Cortez, I will not be putting you into the leftover class. If you do not pass my course, what do you think will happen to you?
Just like every other course, I just wasted $1,000 and I have to retake it again.
I would laugh if I weren't in so much pain, Cortez. Pain from your willful ignorance to the importance of the situation that you find yourself in. Pardon. Necromancy. Let's talk about it for a moment. It is the course that I will personally instruct you with. What does this represent, Ms. Oseo?
Defense.
This is defense. This is something else. You don't know. And yet, you've been staring at it all evening, haven't you, Ms. Oseo?
Oh, the fire.
Ms. Williams, what would you like to say in your crystal clear clarity of the universe around you?
Oh, I would just like to answer the question, Professor.
I didn't ask you the question, though, Ms. Williams. Mr. Endergroff, what is this? Cortez, to the front of the class with your wand, now. You like to make jokes.
I mean, I think I am funny, so yeah.
Did you think it was funny when the world was levitating around you?
I mean, I thought it was a neat party trick.
A neat party trick.
Yeah. I think, once I...
And when the glass vase on your nightstand shattered across the room, spilling water and shattered glass across your brother's face, how did that make you feel?
I thought it was funny. He should have got out of the way.
And what if that vase had been a blast of magical energy that had shredded the flesh from your brother's face? Would you find that funny then?
No, Professor.
What are you doing with your wand?
You told me not to point it at anything, so this time I'm not pointing it. I'm pointing
At
it
anything
down.
other than your own foot?
It's at the ground. Should I just, put it down? Is that better?
No.
Okay.
Pick it up.
Okay.
Focus your mind.
Hmm.
Stand here in the front of the class.
Oh, okay.
I want you to cast a spell on Ms. Williams.
Oh, done and done. How do I do
Ms.
it?
Williams, please step forward. Bring your wand. Here. Stop. Now, you will not point your wands at each other until I deem it appropriate. Is that understood?
Yes, Professor.
What would you like to do to Ms. Williams, Cortez?
Can I give her a wedgie?
A what? I will express this to you once, Cortez.
Is that not viable?
I expect English to be spoken in my classroom.
Okay.
What would you like to do to Ms. Williams?
Fine. Let's just let's push her back. Let's knock her
Push.
down.
Excellent. That will work. Were you paying attention on how to cast the spell?
Yes.
Excellent. Ms. Williams, do you understand how to defend against the spell?
I believe so, Professor.
And do you feel that you are quick enough to be able to defend against that spell?
Yes, Professor.
Excellent. We will see. Go ahead and cast your spell on Ms. Williams. And be sure you do not deviate from push.
Just in case I forgot, can I have one more demonstration?
No,
Okay.
but I will tell you
Okay.
once more.
That works too.
3 words.
Uh-huh.
You will choose your form.
Mm-hmm.
You will point your wand and speak your intention. Focus your energies. Close your eyes. Do you feel it?
I feel something.
Yes. Cultivate that which is inside of you. It is an energy, a force. Focus and cast your spell now.
Okay. Alright. Carajo, 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 push.
That spell. What happens?
You know, I feel pretty good. I feel like it just.
It's a failed spell, Cortez. Both of you have cast the exact same mark. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And so nothing happens because it is negated. That is why nothing happened. Both of you take your seats. Aggressive, ready, defense. Our time is running shorter and shorter. You hear the bells. You've been counting. You've been listening, of course, to every one of the announcements. And you know already that we are devious enough to place before you answers that you cannot immediately discern. Both of you have done well. I'm impressed.
Thank you, Professor.
Stay with me, Cortez. I will make you a wizard yet. Quitting is not an option. The path. What do you have written there?
I got some words.
I'd like for you to come to the front of the class. Did you do that on your own?
Yes.
You did that on your own?
Well, yes.
With no help from anyone in the room? Or from VR?
No.
Impressive. There are other lessons. I will leave you to them. You've impressed me. Don't talk! Don't leave your seats!
I'm not in my seat. Already. What'd you get? Come on, shoot answers. What'd you do?
Silverum, Opal, Cadastra. Go back on the table. Nothing.
It was a key. It was a key.
No.
We all saw you pull it out a little lower. Hey, did you see where she put it at?
I saw where she placed that, but I did not see a key.
You should check her bags. Come on, just do it. She didn't even say no.
I'm right here.
Yeah? And you're the least helpful person in this damn room.
I think if instead of pinning stuff on others and we work together.
But we're not working together. I saw her open the box and take a key out. You know she's gonna take credit for nothing.
Then why don't you do it?
Because the bag is on her side. She's magic. I'm not good with it. You guys know what you're doing. Someone's coming.
Great. My name is Professor Crookson. I expect you to call me that. Or Professor Works. My pronouns are he, him right now. You can expect that to change. I will tell you when it changes. That being said, I am your illusions teacher. Illusions is a word that comes with quite a few expectations. The expectations of illusions and connotations of the word as it is written is that there's something to do with deception, with lying. And that is correct in a way. In another way, it is simply about misleading. Illusions do not change the nature of a thing. Illusions change the look of it. Illusions change how you perceive it. And that means knowing exactly what each of the senses do. The first one we'll be talking about is optical. This is the most common sort of illusion. An optical illusion is something that causes the connection between the eyes and the brain to misfire, to function improperly. And that is the basis of any illusion. That being said, what have your other teachers taught you so far? No one wants to participate.
Practical information for
Practical or information, there's a difference.
in practical.
Impractical. That sounds about right. Alright. I understand that we're at Aetherhaus Academy, which is not much better than finding a magician on the street corner to teach you. However, luckily, you have me. And I was taught properly. You will listen to the things that I tell you, and you will learn. Are you paying attention, Miss Cortez?
Of course.
Are you?
Yeah.
What were you holding?
A pen.
All right. This is a very basic diagram of an eye. The back of the eyeball is a gelatinous orb of sorts that is connected to the socket. There is a nerve here that connects to the brain. The eyes are an extremely vulnerable part of your body for various reasons. There's many things that can go wrong with it. But one of the main things that we're going to be dealing with is color. Who knows what the visible spectrum of light is? Miss Cortez, do you know what the visible spectrum of light is? I'm sure you ought to have learned it in mundane school as well.
I feel like Roji bit.
Yes. Would you like to enlighten us what that means?
Red. Something, something, something.
What about the letters?
I don't really pay attention much in class. I just remember it was Roji bit.
Miss Cortez, you just said it.
Yeah.
You already know this information.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to make yourself seem stupid, because you're not. That goes for all of you. I do not tolerate willful stupidity. I do not tolerate people pretending that they're not as smart as they are, as clever as they are. Did you catch that? Do you know anything about the spectrum of light that's visible to humans?
I did not.
That's fine. It's not something traditionally taught by American families of magical descent. What about you? Do you know anything about Roy G. Biv? Or would you like anyone like to take a guess?
It's all the colors.
That's true. the colors that have an invisible light. This stands for red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Roy G. Biv is an acronym, of course. And these are all of the spectrum, these all appear in the spectrum of visible light to humans. Those who are magic can see a little bit more than that. Those who are magic are able to see spirits, are able to see things that are preternatural. And God help you if you see anything supernatural. That being said, illusions is all about changing and affecting what you can see. Can anyone tell me, or would anyone like to hazard a guess? Why is that important? Why are your senses important? Yes, Miss Williams.
Because it allows you to experience the world around you, both the mundane and the magical.
That is true. And would anyone else like to posit any reason why that might be important?
Information?
Yes. And?
They help you picture what you're trying to cast.
Good. And? Anything.
No, Professor.
Not no professor. Think on it. There's no wrong answers here.
I don't quite understand, Professor.
That's fine too. Everyone has a different way of learning. My question is, why is it important for you to be able to experience the world around you? Any reason? There's one in particular I'm looking for, but there's not necessarily a wrong answer.
Is it so you know how to manipulate it?
That is another correct answer. Mr. Endegraff,
Yes, Professor.
I would appreciate it if you thought ahead about our lessons. If you need any additional help, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to offer it. I will expect that answer from you as part of your homework.
Yes, Professor.
Remember, there's not a wrong answer. The visible spectrum of light is important because there are invisible spectrums of light. Light is a wavelength. The larger it gets, the less harmful it is for those of us who are corporeal. The smaller it gets, the more harmful it is. The smaller a wavelength gets, the more likely it is to get don't tell the professor about that. Or that. Anyway, the smaller a wavelength gets, the more harmful it becomes. Illusions deal with wavelengths, especially optical kinds. Do not think that just because you perceive it, that means it is real. Do not think that just because you cannot perceive it, that it is false, that it does not exist. There are plenty of ways to use illusions. Auditory illusions are perhaps some of my favorites. There are plenty of ways to use this, if only you are creative. If only you use the things that you have learned in new and interesting ways. I am a fan of people who are creative. I am not a fan of things that are rigid, that are stuck in their ways. And my job here is to make sure that each and every one of you grows in a way that suits you best. Is that clear? If you need assistance, let me know.
So then, do you know the answer to this, like, paper we got?
I said assistance, not doing your work for you.
I could use assistance.
With,
Where do I start?
as Professor Holt said, Professor Holt is the head librarian. Start with what you know. Unravel it. At any point, you can get your hands on it. Think of it like a ball of thread. Unravel it. Start with what you know. Go from there. That's what I can offer you right now. This academy does have very strict feelings on that specific sort of assistance. And unfortunately, my hands are tied in certain ways. I also do believe that homework can be important. It does help you learn. That being said, Mr. Endigrove,
Yes,
have
Professor.
you been asked up here to deal with your magic at all? To showcase it?
No.
Please come up. Where's your wand?
Yes.
Perfect. Alright, what do you see here?
I see a piece of paper.
You do? It's apparently a note. Alright, with your magic at the ready, pull your wand, please. Good. You know how to use it. Change something about the paper. Make it disappear, make it fall, make it look like it's anywhere else. Do you know how to do that?
I'll try.
Very good. That's the correct answer.
Darkness, brimstone, and gloom. Disappear.
Disappear. Very good, Mr. Endigrove. Please return to your seat. You've done very well. What were you thinking when you made it disappear? What were you imagining?
I was imagining it to disappear.
Yes. But what was that process? There's a process that you are perhaps not aware of. These things that you don't necessarily think of because you are so used to perceiving the world as you do. These are the things that are important. These are why being so completely aware of your surroundings is important. How will you know if you're caught in an illusion that may perhaps take over the whole room if you don't notice that the apple's missing? Did anyone notice the apple missing? Of course you didn't. You didn't notice there wasn't an apple in the first place. That's what I'm talking about. You can mirror things. You can make opponents miss you, not because you have a shield that is better than their magic, not because of brute force, but because of finesse. You can make anything happen, if only you are imaginative enough. And you, sir, have a strong imagination. And that is the highest compliment that I can give. Miss Cortez, would you like to try?
Nah, I'm good.
Miss Cortez, that wasn't a question.
Okay.
Yes. With magic at the ready. Are you familiar with how to cast spells?
Can I get a refresher?
You can. What do you remember?
I got a point with this.
Alright. You point with that, as you say,
Yeah,
and there are 3 symbols that you make with your free hand
got it.
to harness your magic. Do you know what those symbols are?
Yes.
What are they?
And this one, and this one, and this one.
That is correct. Say 3 words. Point. Use your symbols to harness your magic. And specifically with illusion, see through what has been placed here. You know that there's paper here. Do you know what it looks like? White. Close enough. I'm sure we'll see if that'll be enough to break it. This paper. Return it. Uncloak the illusion.
Alright.
Get apple. Very good. Back. Very good.
Can I go sit down now?
You may.
Thanks.
Does anyone have any questions they would like to ask about my lesson? Do you have any questions you would like to ask about your professors?
How old are you guys?
Which one?
Any of them? I'm kind of curious. Or, okay, wait, why are you here? Why are you teaching us?
Me or everyone?
You. Why? You don't seem to want to be here the most.
Unfortunately, Delphine is a friend of mine.
Huh.
She is the professor for Enchantment. It was on her behest that I have arrived here.
Some attention. Did you guys date or something? It seems
No.
like you got some tension there.
There is tension because I was tricked into this job.
You, Master of Illusions, was tricked?
It does happen. That being said, I'm also well versed in Fey contracts. I was allowed with mine. So, I'm going to earn my keep. Do any of you have any other questions? You look like you have one, Miss Williams.
Oh no, sir. I found your lecture quite interesting.
Now, what did you really think about it?
That it was quite interesting. Some of it is a little obscure, but
Perhaps
I'm
if you
sure
were
I
raised
will.
by a magical family. Do you have any questions?
no.
Do you have any questions?
Me?
Yes.
Not yet.
Questions?
Why can magical people see spirits?
There is something to do with the way that they perceive the magic in the world. Spirits are a construct, ultimately, of magic. It's also why you get wild tales of places being haunted, but then more mundane people will show up and never see a thing.
Wild stories indeed. Thank you, Professor Crookston, for illuminating the class. I trust all of you were kind to the professor.
Have a good class, Proctor.
Crookson,
Aye.
do me the favor of checking on Evelyn's song. I believe she will be imparting the words that Delphine has left. It seems your friend wasn't able to make it to the orientation on time.
Lovely. I'll let you know what you feel about that.
Excellent. Thank you, Professor Crookson. Time. What is time? Cortez.
A construct.
Yes. What else is it?
Irrelevant to us.
Correct.
See, I was paying attention.
But it is running out. What have you learned, Oseo?
Well, certain directions of the wind and how to manipulate wind, and that how to manipulate our surroundings.
Yes. And the spirits have already begun speaking with you. Despite your heritage, you have found a connection to the arts of necromancy. Step forward. I want you, Ms. Oseo, to speak to the spirits in this room. Do you feel prepared to do that?
I can try.
You can try. What do you think I'm going to say to that, Ms. Oseo?
I do feel better.
Excellent. Step forward. Close your eyes. Center yourself. Open your consciousness to the void around you. The powers of the spirits call out to all of us, Ms. Oseo. None of us are free from death or the grasp that it holds upon us as mortal beings. But birthed of magic, each of us has the opportunity to move beyond such simple boundaries. But just because we do not wither as the mundanes do, does not mean that we are not connected to all things through that dark tether, that single strand. Do you sense it?
Yes.
Pardon me. Again, I have exerted myself. Do not lose sight of that strand, Ms. Oseo. Focus your energies. Reach out. Using your wand, move that tether. Cast your spell and summon.
Sunsets, clouds, and rainbows. Summon.
There is a stirring, but your spell. Try it again. Your focus must be on your wand. Do it, Ms. Oseo. We are waiting.
Rose, daisy, tree, summon.
Your wand. Your focus is not on your wand, Ms. Oseo. One more time. Reach out for the spirits. They are nearby.
Grass, wood, tiger, summon.
Ms. Oseo. Your wand.
Oh.
You are not focusing your energies upon it. This is a fine, powerful tool. Your family has imparted you with a very old wand. Are you worthy of it?
I'd like to try once more.
That is the correct answer, Ms. Oseo. Try again.
Ocean, breeze, sunset, summon.
The spirits not only stir, but they are now present. Command. Face Ms. Oseo.
Hello.
Ask the spirit a question.
What is your name?
Spirit, you are commanded to answer.
Mars? Mars.
Ask another question, Ms. Oseo.
Why are you here? I did this trick.
Dismiss. Ms. Oseo, why did the spirit answer your question so plainly?
I felt connected to it.
Good, yes, you were connected to the spirit, but you asked a question, why are you here? The spirit answered in the most direct means possible. Every time you summon a spirit or speak with a spirit, you must be prepared to barter with forces that you do not understand. Therefore,
I'm sorry.
no, Ms. Song, please, by all means. I was only teaching our students the importance of proper use of necromancy and the danger of misusing spiritual access. What are you holding?
Oh, well, it's a letter from Miss Delphine. Professor Ut. She couldn't make it today.
I see. Would you do us the honor of imparting her words?
Oh, hello.
Students, this is Evelyn Song, your librarian. Professor Holt has placed her here to oversee all of the books that you will be required to study during your time here at the Academy. If you need something, most likely Evelyn Song is the key. Ms. Oseo, I have done you a disservice. You may take your seat. This is your final lesson for the evening, and I ask that you remain focused, and even though Ms. Song will be temporarily filling in for our wayward enchantment professor, give her the same respect that you would any other professor. Do you understand?
Yes, Professor. Yes, Professor.
Cortez, I didn't hear you say anything. All I see is what looks like some very lovely artwork on the back of your coursework.
Thank you.
Is this a drawing of me saying blah, 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 Ms. Cortez?
It may or may not have your likeness, Professor.
I like the horns. Carry on, Miss Song.
Of course, Professor. Sorry, Matthias. Sometimes he hasn't had his coffee. Touchy. Alright, so I'm going to read this postcard you see from Miss Delphine. Dearest students, magic is inherent on this globe. If one is willing to prepare, to prod and probe, that sounds unpleasant. For these willing to charm and encant, I welcome you to the house
Aetherhaus of Enchant. Here we weave our poetic spells to ensure our magic always parallels the ebb and flow of time that slows and reveals one's innermost peace and woes. Tonight you must perform a feat so cliché as unfortunately I am still away, indisposed of in a different light. You will figure me out just in time. I give my authority to Miss Song. That's very sweet. Even though we haven't known each other that long. We haven't really. It's only been... well, never mind. She will carry on my tests and tell me who is best in the ways of delight and enchantment. Oh dear, she wrote something. Oh, okay, here we go. Colleen Taggy? I think that means good luck. Professor Delphine Pluto. Oh, I'm supposed to take a test. Oh, I'm sure everything will be quite alright and you will do just fine. Now, all of you know what School of Enchantment is, yes? You read the brochure? Yeah, I see. Shakespeare. Whew. Well, you see, enchantment covers several topics. One of those is, well, exactly as it sounds, enchantment. That is the process by which you change the magical nature of an object so that it does magical things by itself. The other, far more complicated line for enchantment actually has nothing to do with enchantment. It has everything to do with divination. I haven't gotten, well, I did get an explanation once, but that was a little bit muddled, and I think she's had Trump. Partially. What the Trump? Can't tell sometimes. That said, divination. And the way that Miss Uto explained it, well, Professor Uto, of course, is that, what am I supposed to do? Could you hold on to this? Hope it doesn't get on my feet. That's it. The way that Professor Uto explained it is that both divination and enchantment is a manipulation of magical threads. You see, that's what connects all of us. It connects me to you, and you to your parents, and Miss Cortez to Miss Williams, although they don't seem to like each other very much. But that's I'm sure a friendship will grow eventually. No?
No.
How sweet. No. Oh dear. That's good. That's being able to see these threads and of magic, and being able to change where they move and how they move and how they relate to each other is how you in fact enchant something. Or, as Miss Uto does, Professor Uto, I keep forgetting, Professor Uto does, which is to divine the future. If you can see enough of them and see how things relate to each other, you can see what will happen. More or less. With a little room for error and free will, which all of us technically have. Well, you understand. You're possessed. It's not quite your will, it's not control. Like a little puppet. That's no fun. Try not to get possessed, and please don't summon spirits without being in the classroom or why aren't you wearing your robes? Where are your robes?
We haven't gotten them yet.
Oh! Oh. Well, you shouldn't be. Oh, well, if Professor Monroe thinks it's not, then I suppose it's fine that your passive magic is either protective robes or wards or any other such protection to keep malevolence from occurring to you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Really. But if you do at any point feel sick, like you're farewell, or your eyes will outlook your head. Please do see what's going on. Shall we do our test then? Okay. Alright. So, it is a simple test. I know she left this here 2 weeks ago. Or 3 weeks. Was it 2 weeks ago? I'm sure. 3 weeks ago, perhaps. Sometime. But this is an enchantment tool. If you have some, how would I say, talent for enchantment, if you are able to see these threads, you should be able to light it. Would you like to try, Mr. Underground?
But sure, I suppose.
Yes,
Would you like
what do
me-
you want? Alright. Go ahead. Now try to imagine the connection of the foot. Try to see the strings around it that allow you to light it up.
So, just like me to light up the
Just tap on the thread that allows you to light the orb. There's an enchantment on it, and you should be able to activate it. Well, if you can perceive the thread, you should be able to activate it. But if you can't, that's alright. That's what we're here to teach you. Just give it a try.
darkness, brimstone, and gloom, light.
Let's check. It wasn't very good swing. I felt it vibrate. I did. Alright, someone else like your
I would love to try, Professor.
Of course. Well, I'm not a professor in the library.
Oh, Miss Song.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Wits. And alright.
Here, shall I shuffle these?
I'm supposed to be teaching. I don't know. But it'll be alright. Alright, go ahead.
Avars lepto uno.
Oh, well done. Well done. Very well done.
No, thank you. It's
I'm sure
surprisingly happy that I did that. Thank you, Professor.
librarian.
Oh, yes, sorry, librarian. You should be a professor. I don't know why they haven't made you one.
Well, I have to imagine that it's would you like to try? Oh, yes.
Red, yellow, purple, light.
Let's see. Oh, not quite, not quite. Would you like to try once more? I have
Yes,
good
please.
feeling. And Professor Uto always said, trust my feelings. So try once more.
Green, purple, blue, light.
That's very clever. Oh my. What have we done? That's very well done. Thank you, Miss Why don't you have a seat? Now, could you tell me, Miss
Endergroff.
Endergroff, I'm so sorry.
Word.
What it was that you didn't quite feel?
It was something that I clearly not. What's the word? adept to. I didn't see a threat. I just went with my feeling, and I guess my feeling was wrong.
Well, that's a bad way to go, as one of the other professors mentioned before. As Professor Clemson actually said, everyone learns differently, and as Professor Riddle said, everyone casts magic a little differently. And here at Aetherhaus, that is what we're here to help you learn. Not only how to do magic in a more traditional sense, but also how you do magic individually, by yourselves, and how that's different. Isn't coming, is he? You see, using wands isn't the only way to cast magic. There are many other ways to it, and in your time here, that's what you learn and what you read about. It's up to you how you want to decide, even if it's perhaps not to do magic at all. Useful test.
I mean, magic seems pretty cool. Why would I wouldn't want to do it?
I'm not sure. Some of us will occasionally make the decision not to use magic, and just live entirely in the world. And that is a choice. And don't allow anyone to say to you that it's a poor choice. Because you are always welcome. And you're always welcome to return to the world of magic. Now, I'm curious. What are your favorite books? Why don't we start with you?
Necromancy, a history.
Oh, the German version? Or are we speaking about the Scottish version? There is still plenty of Scots.
I skimmed the German one, but I read the Scottish one twice.
You know, it might be that it was written in Old Germanic. We do have a translation.
Ooh,
Yes,
I'd
indeed.
like to read that sometime.
Welcome to the library then. How about you?
Just any histories?
Well, there's many histories. Is there any particular place you're particularly interested in? Location or house or otherwise?
I don't know.
Well, there's a very large history section, and it isn't in well, we don't talk about that section. You're not supposed to go in, you don't have access to it. The restricted one, so don't worry about that. And what about you, Miss Cortez? Is there a particular topic you're interested in?
You know, those how-to books seem kind of helpful. Like, you know, how to pick a lock, how to start minor fires, stuff like that.
Fires.
I mean, you know, like, if I'm just trying to survive, sometimes fires come in handy.
Please don't set any fires in the library. I would greatly appreciate it. And count it as a personal favor if you didn't.
I'll make sure there's no fires by me in the library.
That said, I'll see if there aren't any books of the elementary.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I trust that the professor's words were imparted.
Yes, the test went very well. I do believe this Umbra test shows quite a talent.
Good.
But I'm just going to...
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Song.
Oh, where did I put my tea?
I think your tea is here.
Oh, lovely. Well, goodbye, students. Hopefully I'll see you soon in the library. Well, not too soon. Soonish.
We owe a great debt to our librarians. They support us. We could not run this academy without them. Professor Holt, especially, has seen that the coursework for this night has been set. The coursework that you have been working diligently on, yes?
Yes, Professor.
Or the coursework that you are using as a napkin like you would on a common diner to draw pictures of your professors as if you were in middle school. That coursework. Professor Holt understands the significance of symbology. Professor Holt has a deep appreciation for the magical laws that bind us together. And Professor Holt knows what this is. Do you? Ms. Williams, I can no longer take the smug look upon your face. Do you have the right answer?
Yes, they're the paths of magic.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
You're welcome.
You are correct. What do any one of these represent to you? Please choose the most powerful path of magic. Wrong. Choose the most powerful path of magic.
I would think all of them.
You are correct. None of these is stronger than any of the other. If they are misused, misrepresented, any one of them can be horribly destructive. But when combined, all 5 of the keystone magical schools are able to create forces that can shape the universe. Cortez, I am tired of hearing the sound of my voice. Say your name. Are you paying attention while I speak?
Yes.
What did I just say?
Say.
Do I look amused?
Yes. But it's kind of hard to tell. Like maybe if I squint. Maybe if you squinted.
Cortez, I think over the course of your time here, you will learn many definitions. There will be many things that you learn about in regards to the proper ritualistic use of magic. You will learn about the wide and vast magical existence of things that you could only dream about. But I think that the most important thing that I will impart to you is some ability to sit and learn without making snide remarks. You will learn restraint, and I will teach it to you.
Okay.
Who has not completed the paths? Raise your hand if you're not complete with your coursework. The 3 of you need to stand up here, please. Mr. Endergrove, what, in your mind, is the purpose of failure?
To learn from failure.
That is correct. What is it when we fail? When do we truly fail, Cortez?
Every day.
Wrong. I mean, for you, perhaps right. But, Mr. Endergrove, do you seek to usher Cortez through this life? Are you going to be tied to their hip on every single question that they are asked? Or should we allow Cortez to fail of their own spectacularly skilled merit? What do you think, Mr. Endergrove?
I think if they give up, then that's when they truly fail.
That is correct, but as I was saying, it is not your place to save Cortez. Sit down. You're disappointing. Cortez, what is this?
High five. Also all the magics, but I also just like it's a high five.
Do I look amused? What would you say the expression on my face reveals to you?
Death.
That is correct. You may sit down. The paths, what are they?
The 5 keystones of magic.
And they have companions, symbols, glyphs, marks. Each of them splits off into a multitude of other magical abilities, skills, and knowledges. 5 is merely the beginning. 5 is endless when multiplied beyond itself. We have amongst us in the ether those who are learning alongside you, those who are aiding you, those who will take this journey with you. Your choices affect them. If you fail, they fail. Every time you create a mark for yourself in your chosen spot amongst the schools, those who have also chosen that school will be given a mark. Every time you fail and they lose a mark, they will be taken away from. They will lose that which they have earned through your merits and your successes. And your what, Cortez? What is it that can be taken away from them?
My dignity?
Do I look amused, Cortez?
I get a vibe, not really.
You have a razor-sharp sense of perception, Cortez. Ms. Williams,
Yes, Professor.
if you were in my position, what punishment would you give Cortez?
I probably would ask her to leave.
Well, it's a good thing I'm not as harsh as Ms. Williams. I refuse to give up on you, Cortez.
Thanks.
But that doesn't mean I can't make your life here a living hell. Ms. Oseo. Again, I've done you a disservice. You may have a seat. Umbretta, Williams, to the front. Ms. Williams, is something funny?
No, Professor, I'm so sorry. I have a something in the air. It must have been that unicorn horn earlier.
Well, I'm glad that you are amused in my classroom. Excuse me. What's this right here?
My foot.
Pick it up. Not your foot. The note.
Oh, there's a note here?
Cortez,
Williams,
you are
are you
lucky this is
here?
not an acting course because you would have already failed. Give me the note. Were you passing this to Ms. Williams?
God, no.
It hit me in the head as it came in, Professor.
You were struck by this.
Yes.
Did you know anything about this?
I know.
Do you think that it is appropriate to throw things in my classroom? To pass notes amongst each other?
Absolutely not, Professor. I think it's horrendous that someone would disrespect you like that.
100% great job on the assignment. A+ from scrying students. Congratulations, scrying students. You've just earned yourself a detention. You'll find out what that means soon enough. So, you were using students from outside this classroom to aid you on your work. Is that correct, Ms. Williams?
No, Professor.
Umbrella?
No.
Then tell me what this is.
The paths of magic.
And what are they?
The paths. There is necromancy, illusion, alchemy, geomancy, and enchantment.
Excellent. Behind each of them stands a mythical beast. That beast guards, protects, and shepherds those who would enact those spells. Our time is very short. What are the 5 mythical creatures, as you no longer have what, Cortez?
Okay, this time I was just seriously taking
Time, that is correct. You no longer have time.
Alright.
What are the 5?
Chimera, Cerberus, Draka, Sphinx, Cockatrice.
And which is related to which?
Illusion to the chimera, necromancy is Severus, enchantment is Sphinx, Drake is geomancy, and cockatrice is alchemy.
Each of you this night have completed the pathway. Some of you made it all the way. Both of you will receive an extra dot in your chosen school when it is assigned to you. Please take a seat. The rest of you will not. But you have earned something even more important. You have earned what, Cortez?
Knowledge.
Yes, Cortez, you are correct. Knowledge that will lead you on to future success. We are only a failure when we what, Mr. Endergrove?
When we give up.
Exactly. I need all of you now to stand, as you will be sorted into your schools of magic before this night is over. On this circle, your classroom, your fates have been writ. It is in a script by the hand of fate and is unseen yet, but it will be written by your choices and your actions. Each of you may take one spot here when I direct you. Hosea, to this circle. Cortez, to this circle. Indegrav, to this circle. Williams. And last but not least, the 5 of you are what? Yes. Each of you are as a finger on my hand. You represent the full force of magical energies, and each of you, as we already assumed, will be sorted into a school separately. The professors now will come and usher you forward. Professor Morgenstern,
Yes.
you've witnessed this from afar.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find any of them worthy of your education?
Not really. But they will be ready when I'm done with them.
Excellent. Which student will represent alchemy?
I think the student that represents alchemy is the one that talked about unicorn horns. That means you're ready. Miss Williams, come forward.
You should go to Miss Williams.
Oh, I will go to Miss Williams.
They're in a ceremonial circle. Professor Morgenstern.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yes. There are five really important fundamental things. And you should initiate that by putting the unicorn powder into the tears of Chimera.
How sweet.
Yes.
at
There
that.
we
It's
go.
5 past 9.
But, okay. My school is messy. Lesson 1. You'll get lesson 2 next week.
Thank you, Mr. Morgenstern. Leave the classroom. You found that funny.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Professor.
As you well know, alchemy is one of the oldest and most revered of magical arts, despite what Professor Morgenstern seems to be doing with a rubber glove. Professor?
Well, I suppose this one goes to the one who wanted it and who lasted the longest, Undergrad. You wanted geomancy or geomancy? Good question. What does this mean?
It's the 5 past the magic.
What else could it mean?
I don't.
Come on.
It could be a high 5.
You know what else could mean? What? 5 to the face.
Thank you for respecting the traditions of the school. Is there anything else that you would like to do in your time here?
No, I think that's it.
Great. Congratulations, Mr. Indegrav. You've gotten your wish. You are not associated with necromancy. You, however, Ms. Oseo, have impressed me. Speak the words through death. Through death
Through death
and life.
and life,
We create,
we create,
destroy,
destroy,
we engage,
engage,
and activate the unknown.
and activate the unknown.
The spirits will bind to us.
The spirits will bind to us.
So say I.
So say
I am a necromancer.
I am a necromancer.
We'll work on your gravitas. Do not make me come back there and grab you. I know you're waiting for dramatic effect.
Hey, called.
I'm very tired. Did you choose a student?
I did.
Excellent. Would you illuminate us?
It's one who asks questions, who notices things. And who I think, according to the doodling in class, don't do that, okay?
Professor, perhaps you should stand.
And according to all the attention paid in class, that there might be some imagination in you yet. Don't thank me yet.
Do we get like a secret?
You don't. Is there anything else, Professor?
No.
Surprise! The troublemaker is an illusionist. Last but not least, we are missing our professor. I wish I could tell you that this is going to be easy for you. Delphine is remarkable in her skill, but unrelenting in her ability to shadow students. I trust that you will not fail her. There will come a time.
Proctor, Professor Malvo! They're dead! They're all dead!
I need you to
The students!
sleep. Forget everything by the old sign. Your memories are now wiped clean of everything that has occurred within the past minute.
Whoa.
Professor, should I be ending?
Good night, Ms. Song. Thank you for your service.
All right, we're going to end now-ish, I suppose. Some announcements before we go. The head gardener would like to remind students that digging in the oat grove is strictly prohibited. It does not do to disturb the unrestful without reason. They do not like it, and she has enough to do managing this year's explosion of salamander grass. With that said, please avoid the purple patches of grass in the quad for the next 2 weeks. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in a week's time, I hope. And that should be it. Goodbye.